Darren DeVries is out as the West Virginia men's basketball head coach, and we are left feeling cursed as always.
You are Locked On West Virginia, your daily podcast on the West Virginia Mountaineers, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What is up, guys? Welcome back in. Second time today. My name is Mountaineer Paul. This is Locked On West Virginia. Appreciate you guys for tuning back in for the second time today on the same topic. We talked about it earlier. We had a bad feeling earlier, and now that bad feeling has indeed come to fruition as Darren DeVries departs Morgantown after 1 year to go to Bloomington to brighter pastures, or so he hopes. Hopefully it's not like the last 10 or so coaches that have been there since Bob Knight left town. Brought to you by Nissan this episode. Guys, today's episode is going to be brought to you by the all-new 2025 Nissan Armada. Stay with us for the Armada Team of the Week later in the episode. Are we cursed is the question that I come to here, because obviously we're not really cursed. It's really a rhetorical question, right? It feels like we are. Not just this. Just go back. Let's just go back a little bit. We get the number one class in the history of our school, and then Bob Huggins gets a DUI and it gets fired. And then that entire class, most of them leave. The ones that stayed behind held us for ransom. And then even some of those got kicked off the team in a season where we had to take the NCAA to court to get our best player eligible amidst a slew of injuries and a first-year head coach with a bunch of first-year head coaches around him. And then we got slid the ultimate wild card in Darren DeVries. A guy that really, in my opinion, I don't see him failing at Indiana. I don't. I'm that impressed with him. And I told somebody else earlier, this is a crushing blow for us. I'm like having a little bit of a time keeping it together, to be honest. We're not as bad off as Pitt. We don't have to keep Cable for another year. So at least we're not in that situation. I can at least take a deep breath and say, honest to God, and this is on my dad's grave, I'm so glad we're not the Pitt Panthers having to keep Jeff Capel around for another year. Thank God we get to dive back in and get a coach that's going to be better than him. So at the end of the day, we don't have to be them, right? And that's the great part about it. So when I look at that, that's the one smiling joy that I get out of this is we are not Pitt. So we lose Darren DeVries to Indiana, and we have another coaching search. It's rough, man. And I've got a source that says Tucker DeVries will follow him. Obviously, that's no big breaking news. But Tucker will follow his dad to Indiana, which why wouldn't he? They're going to try to build something special there, I'm sure. Guys, they knocked his socks off. I told some people earlier some numbers that I was given by some people on the Indiana side. And he's probably going to get close to what Bob Huggins made, if not what Bob Huggins made, and double, if not close to triple, what we could offer in NIL. He had to do it, guys. I know it sucks. I know people are going to go back to those initial press conferences where he said he's loyal and he doesn't go job hopping or anything like that. But this is a job you hop to that you never have to leave again if it works out. I think if you're going to do it, you have to do it after year one, right? And I totally understand why he did this. I don't want to have any animosity towards Coach DeVries. I feel like, this is one of those things you just can't say no to, guys. We can't provide the same infrastructure that Indiana can. We just can't. So I wish he would have stayed. I think he could have had an excellent career with us. I really do. But at the end of the day, here we are. And Darren DeVries moves on after just 1 year here. So what does that mean? Well, it means that we are a program where coaches come in and sometimes we get job hopped, right? And it's frustrating to be in that as a program. Sometimes we have to be honest with ourselves and realize we're going to have to target a very specific kind of guy. We thought we had that in Darren DeVries, to be honest, but we didn't because we didn't expect a blue blood to come calling. Those jobs don't come open very often. Sometimes one will come open every other year or something, but generally speaking, so that's just the way things are. It's tough to say no to those kind of programs. So I do appreciate the people in the comments right now. With they're helping with interaction. A lot of people are reacting to their comments in the comment section. Thank you for helping the YouTube algorithm for me. I need all the help I can get. So I mean, you can say anything you want in there. Not going to get blocked. You're not going to get muted or anything like that. Literally go off, do whatever you want to do, man. All you're doing is providing engagement for me. So if you think you've got some kind of thing going there, you don't. I will say this too, by the way. Is it as bad as we think? In the moment, sometimes you look at something, it's not as bad as you think. Right. And I think once the storm passes and we move on to the next coaching search, I assume Wren is probably knee deep into, probably already has been for a few days. There's a good chance that we probably have narrowed down a few candidates. And who are they? We're going to talk about those on this episode next segment. I've got some names that I've written down that I personally think we should be looking at. There's some names that I personally don't want, but I think we're going to look at. It just is what it is. And there are also what I consider to be wild cards, where there are just going to be people that we don't know about in the search. And that's kind of how he's operated in the past. And I expect him to continue to do that. So I don't know. I don't know what Wren Baker is going to do, but I do know that I trust Wren Baker to make a good hire. And the thing is we just did this a year ago. It's very fresh. So the same candidate pool's for the most part still out there. The portal does open in 3-4 days, whatever it is. And so I think that's the part of this that I don't know what's going to happen. Like Indiana, they rushed this. A lot of the reason DeVries got hired, in my opinion, is because of the timeline. You could have waited for a guy in the tournament, absolutely. But instead you push things, right? And you get DeVries, who is free. So I think West Virginia, personally, I think Wren Baker needs to do that. I think you have to expedite this just a little bit. Indiana did a coaching search in just a couple of days. So can we. There's no reason we can't. There's no reason we can't. The same search firm, right? So it's literally, we just go to the same search firm that just gave them DeVries and say, hey, give us those same candidates, right? And that's pretty much the end of it. So I do expect some familiar names to be on the list. I do. But I also expect some people that you wouldn't expect to be on the list. So we're going to talk about those people next. Let's go to break. Might as well go ahead and go to break now, 1 minute early. On the other end of the break, we'll get into some of these candidates and who I think could be the next coach at West Virginia. Stick around. This episode of Locked On West Virginia is going to be brought to you by Nissan. The Armada Team of the Week is brought to you by our friends at Nissan and the new all 2025 Nissan Armada. Each week, our Locked On college basketball experts are picking one team that stands apart from top-seeded stars to the unexpected upsets. These guys showcase the strengths and sheer power needed to push their team forward. This week's Armada clear-cut team of the week is the Florida Gators. Led by Walter Clayton, 17 points a game, they dominated the SEC tournament, winning each game by at least 9 points. Not only did they grab the fourth number one seed, but they're the nation's most efficient offense. When it comes to the Nissan Armada, they go forth and conquer. And that's exactly what the Florida Gators have done here. It's clear that our team of the week is out here ready to conquer the road ahead with confidence, just like you can in the all-new Nissan Armada or any of the Nissan's outstanding vehicles. Take the Nissan Armada, Rogue, or Pathfinder and go for your next big adventure at shopnissanusa.com. And we can't forget about our friends over at Fabric by Gerber Life. Life moves fast, especially when you have a family. One day you're watching your kids run around, take their first steps. Before you know it, they're off to college playing for the Mountaineers. That's why securing their future is so important. Fabric by Gerber Life makes it simple to get life insurance that fits your family's needs. With Fabric, you can apply for term life insurance online right from your couch. You can be covered in under 10 minutes. And in many cases, no health exam is required. Gives you peace of mind as a parent. And I want to make sure my family is financially protected no matter what happens. Fabric gives me that peace of mind. You can get affordable coverage, up to $1 million in coverage for less than $1 a day. So protecting your loved ones doesn't have to break the bank. They also offer free digital wills and access to investment accounts to help you plan for your children's future. Join the thousands of parents who trust Fabric to help their families today. In just minutes at meetfabric.com/lockedoncollege. That's meetfabric.com/lockedoncollege. Policies are issued by Western Southern Life Insurance Company, not available in certain states, and prices are subject to underwriting and health questions. As we move into segment 2, let me get a drink here first. No do. We're power rating it up today. Or no, not power rating, Body Armor. Okay, so I want to say that I have a list here. I am going to attempt to do anything that would give it some justice, I guess you could say, as far as names early in this, because I don't have a hot board. I don't make a hot board usually, but I do have some names I think West Virginia will target based on conversations that I've had. So take these with a grain of salt, but I do think that you start this search with, at this point in time, Jared Calhoun. Obviously, we know where he's from. He's got the Huggins connection. And I think, last year he was an option, but not really, because he wasn't really that proven just yet, right? He had just begun to prove himself last year, in my opinion. He moved from Youngstown State to Utah State and really did one heck of a job getting that roster together. And look, they've gotten that large bid. I mean, he is really good, and he's been at West Virginia before. So he's won a bunch of games, played, if you remember, with Fairmont State in the D2 title game, and he's got a good thing going there, right? So I think you got to look at him, obviously. No doubt about it. Ben McCollum, obviously, is going to be somebody West Virginia has to look at. Maybe the number one guy on the list. I think you certainly have to look at McCollum and look at the history between he and Rim Baker and say, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. The problem is McCollum's going to be wanted by everybody. Now that he's won at the Division I level, all those national championships he won when he was in Missouri is really going to hold a lot of water now. At Northwest Missouri State, Rim Baker was his AD, and they do remain close, right? So that's something that you look at and say, okay, there's another one that West Virginia might have a shot at, depending on other jobs that come open. This is the thing. Other jobs are going to come open, and if we kind of need to hope Drake loses or somebody that we want, whoever we want as coach, we need them out as soon as possible. Unfortunately, it may not be great for, like, you don't want the coach you're hiring to lose necessarily, but everybody loses except for one coach at the end anyway. It's just when you're going to do it. So first year, he really had a great roster there. Drake, Sturts, we all know about. And likely he would bring Sturts with him, which is kind of like, in a sense, kind of like how how DeVries brought Tucker. Bucky, man, Bucky McMillan. We know all about Bucky McMillan. Bucky Ball is a name that I could see in gold and blue with the fans all chanting behind him. He has had one heck of a record there at Sanford, although they only made the NIT this year. Got to be honest about that, right? And they didn't lose their best player to the portal. So they hadn't really rebuilt the roster this year as well as they had in the past. But I think Bucky McMillan still remains a really good coach and somebody that you got to at least look at, right? I think you at least have to look at him. There's a couple other guys that I have on here that I'm just not sure I want to mention yet. I don't know. I mean, Josh Schertz is a guy. We talked about Josh Schertz. He was in Indiana State. And to be honest, he was one of the hottest guys going last year. And if he was there this year, he may have been Indiana's guy, being that he was an Indiana State guy, right? And unfortunately, he made the move to St. Louis, where they had a 19-14 year. But it's your first year. But at the end of the day, St. Louis had a pretty decent, healthy NIL fund, what I'm told. Now, can you expect magic in year one? No. So here's my thing. I think you got a 1A and you got a 1B so far anyway. And this is without NBA guys. This is without any prominent, like if Mark Byington were available. Mark Byington is another guy I look at and say, I wouldn't mind having Byington. I know he came up short to DeVries last year, but he had a good year with Vanderbilt. It's a hard place to win at. It's only year one there. West Virginia's a better job in a easier conference, I guess. I don't even know, with the SEC getting 14 teams in is just crazy. So Byington is a name I would at least look at. But yeah, I think you look at McCollum, number one, Calhoun, number one, 1A and 1B. Calhoun is 1B, McCollum 1A. That's my opinion. I don't know what anybody else thinks there. I don't know. So we'll see. I do think that we're going to hire somebody good. We're going to be fine. We're going to be okay. And here's the thing about Calhoun too, guys. Oops, sorry about that. He's probably going to want to be here. And to me, that's like the most important thing. At this point, this is going to be our fourth coach in as many years. We've gone from Bob Huggins to Josh Eilert to Darren DeVries to whoever this is going to be. We can't sustain a program this way. We just can't. It's frustrating, guys. It really is. It's, we don't deserve it. The West Virginia fans don't deserve this. This recruiting class that we had was so good. And that's another thing. You bring in the right guy, and maybe you can keep some of those guys together, at least one of them. More than likely, they're on their way to Indiana. And Chester Frazier, by the way, I do think deserves an interview. I do think that. I think he deserves an interview. I think he's a great coach. I think he's an elite recruiter. But I think that whoever is going to get the most NIL support is who you go with. That's who I think. So whoever that's going to be, hire that guy. Darren DeVries is going to get a lot of support. That's the thing that sucks about this. The 1 year of work he put in to get the NIL support from West Virginia is now basically a wasted year, right? It's literally, you could just take this year, wipe some shit on it, and throw it in the toilet, because that's what happened. We got some Javon Small memories and nothing else. By the way, let's talk about something else on the other side of the break too. I know we're all upset over DeVries. Javon Small got absolutely snubbed today. Not even a third team All-American list. Just insanity. And this episode of Locked On West Virginia is going to be brought to you by, you guys know it, you guys love it, Upwork. And this now on Upwork, guys. We always love to talk about them because scaling your business requires the right expertise at the right time. And with Upwork, you can find specialized freelancers in marketing, development, design, and more. Experts ready to help you take your business to the next level. Upwork gives business flexibility by connecting them with the top freelance across multiple industries, including IT, AI, and web development. Don't forget about marketing. Whether you're extra hands needed for a project or a long-term partner, Upwork gives hiring simple and affordable. Find the right talent for you. If you need help with a marketing campaign, Upwork can connect you with a freelance expert who has delivered incredible results in the past, making it free and simple. Visit upwork.com right now and post your job for free. That's upwork.com. That's upwork.com to connect with top talent and grow your business today. All right, guys, we are back here. This is Locked On West Virginia. We are in segment 3, talking ball, obviously. So I don't know, man. I don't know how Javon Small gets left off of 3 lists like that. Not first team, not second team, not third team. Somebody explain it to me. Somebody make it make sense. I just don't get it. That's, what an overall crap year this has been. Tucker DeVries goes down early after we were shown what this team could do. If this team had Tucker DeVries, I think we could have made some noise in the tournament. I think we could have been a Sweet 16 type team. I really do. But it was not to be, and who knows what could have been, with these guys. But it is what it is. We can't change it, and I say this all the time. Acceptance is not agreeance. Just because I accept something doesn't mean I agree with it. And this is where we're at with this situation. Darren DeVries is gone. I accept it. I don't agree with it. I don't like it. Don't even want it to happen, but it is. So just wanted to get that out about Javon Small, obviously. Also, please be nice on social media to the family. It's not their fault. It's not Tucker's fault. It's not anybody's fault that Darren went to Indiana. And it's not Indiana fans' fault either. Now they're probably going to talk some smack, but let's just try to have some decorum about ourselves here. And just move on to the next guy. We just need to get our guy and worry about us. Let's just worry about us, and we're going to be fine. I appreciate you guys for joining. I don't have a lot else. I'm really emotionally just kind of drained over all this. I really thought after the Iowa stuff came out, maybe we had a 25% chance to keep him, but it was always 0 from the very beginning. It was always, how they use the media to put stuff out there to get leverage for this or that. So, it is what it is. I wish Darren DeVries and Tucker the best. We had Tucker on the show, paid him $2,000 to come on here. I mean, it's just being honest. Paid him $2,000 to come on here and for an NIL deal and to try to help him because we knew he had took a pay cut. And we tried to help other people as well. We try to do what we can for the players on the show. We're going to continue to do that. We're going to continue to help players. We're going to continue to support the program. We're going to continue to love being from West Virginia and to love being a Mountaineer, no matter how harsh and harmful it is to our hearts. At least I speak for myself, obviously. People are bringing up Will Wade. I just don't think Rim Baker will hire Will Wade. Now, if we had a different athletic director, I'd say maybe. Certainly Will Wade's the best hire if you can make it. But I don't think he can. I don't think he would stay either. As soon as Texas or Iowa, or not Iowa, but Iowa State or I don't know, a better job opened up, he's gone, right? Why would he stay? He wouldn't stay. He's gone. So, and maybe he wouldn't be, but Rim Baker does not hire guys that have a scandal in their past. So that's just the truth of it. Thanks for joining. Like I said, guys, I'm going to jump out. I will see you guys on the next one. I'll keep track of some stuff. Once we start to hear some names, things could move fast. Maybe we'll have somebody hired here in a couple of days. But I'll let you know and keep you updated. I'm sure we'll get a statement from Rim Baker at some point in time telling us all that to keep the faith. Hopefully the next guy gets the NIL support that DeVries should have got, and we're going to be okay. I'll talk to you on the next one, guys. This episode's over, and I'm out.